right there.
They cut you off.
Chaotic. Yeah. Chaotic, what you think?
Well, I'm about to bring some chaos. I'm gonna come from a multiplicity of arenas. So if you guys have a few minutes, hear me out. Okay. The Chinese were fairly unpopular in a survey, particularly in parts of Asia. They were named as the worst tourist in Australia, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam.
Hmm.
This is from escape.com. Now, I want to point out something. Miss Risky mentioned language. Well, English, as far as I can remember, is the lingua franca, or of the Western Hemisphere. Pidgin English and patois, that's a primitive language. When we, as Americans, go into Jamaica, which is a third world shithole, they should be honored, if you ask me, that we are even there. They should be honored that American blacks, particularly who have a spending power of $2 trillion, are there. This lady showed no facts. She showed no evidence. And I know you guys are surprised that I'm taking up for the blacks tonight, but I'm the chaotic truth. I take up for blacks when I have to. She showed no facts and evidence. I think at this time period, she's trying to go viral using Black Americans as a talking point now, because Black Americans are trending on TikTok. If you mention Black Americans are trending on YouTube, etc. But Black Americans have a $2 trillion spending power. Do you know what the GDP of Jamaica is? $14 billion. The average American lives 10 times better than the average Jamaican. We are American too, the last time I checked. This whole thing of respecting other people, that's bullshit. We are conquerors by nature. That's why the rest of the world loves us. We are to conquer people. We are to spread our culture throughout the planet. What has Jamaica offered humanity other than Bob Marley, weed smoking, and plantain? What do these people import and export? Who cares about what they think? If you ask me, I think it's a perfect time to show this lady what Americans are all about. I think that thousands of American blacks should get on YouTube and make videos dogging this lady in her shitty compound that nobody in their right mind wants to go to. Let me show you guys something real quick about Jamaica. And I'm about to land a plane on this. Jamaica not only is a shithole, Jamaica, the American government gives $25 million in foreign aid to Jamaica. Jamaica doesn't give the United States government a goddamn thing. Jamaica, and the nerve of this lady, and she is hot, by the way, but I got to give her some smoke. The nerve of this lady. Jamaica is one of the top 5 countries, countries on the planet, robbery, crime, you name it. Most people who go to Jamaica don't even leave the resort. So the nerve of this lady to dog Black Americans, and Black Americans are sitting back like, oh, why she say that? I think Black Americans should throw smoke every which way at these foreign people. But that's just my opinion, though. And I rock with Jamaicans, but I gotta call it like I see it. Americans are superior, and the Black American is the most superior African on the planet. Give these people hell every damn minute. I know I do. I couldn't let some Jamaican talk shit about me in my face. I'll tell them every which way and how to go with that plantain eating language bullshit they got. But that's just me. Sorry, guys. I've been drinking.
They can't be too worthless because between China and Venezuela, they've invested over $62 billion in that land. So they can't be too much of a shithole. They got
Can I respond to her too? It's my risky when she's done.
Ro, you finished?
Ro, you know why China invested so much money into that shithole? It's because they're planning on conquering it. but they're doing it economically. Eventually, every morsel of Jamaica will be owned by the Chinese. Because you know why? How can the Japanese pay their debt off in 100 years? So yeah, the Chinese will build bridges, they'll build roads, just like they're doing in Nigeria and Ghana, and just like they're doing in Uganda and every other part of Africa. Imports. But in 100 years, when China comes to collect, and those African powers don't have that money, you know what the Chinese are going to do? They're just sitting in their military. Oh, this is our stuff now. So that's what China is really doing. You should really get into
what they're doing. But the reality is they're investing in their land, so their land is becoming valuable. It is becoming valuable. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. You believe what you believe, but I'm gonna tell you, you probably won't be here.
That's a fact.
In the 22nd century, you won't be here, and I won't be here. But I guarantee you, your grandchildren will go to Jamaica, and Jamaica will be a Chinese colony.
I'd like to respond. To Chaotic as well. Farrakhan had a famous interview with Mike Wallace, and he said famously, "Let's not play holy. Black Americans are not in a position. They're not in a position whatsoever to tell anybody off or dictate to anybody else in any foreign land about what they should be doing." You talked about the GDP of Jamaica, $1 trillion of spending power, and what has Jamaica done? That has nothing to do. With the premise of what she was talking about. She was talking about Black culture and how when Black people come to her country, how they act. That's the point that we should be focused on. Black American culture, and we are not in a position to dictate to anyone how they should act. We're not. That's the point of the video. So everything that you bring up about China it's all irrelevant. Respectfully.
Can I give you a response?
Yeah, give a concise response, because I know there's a couple. We need to get a couple other people in. Go ahead, CT.
First off, that ain't Black American culture. You know what Black American culture is? Neil deGrasse Tyson, Sylvester James Gates, Macy Jameson, Delta Sigma Theta, Alpha Phi Alpha. Black culture is elite culture. That nigger culture is just like redneck culture in the white community. We should ignore that culture and admonish it just like the whites do. I don't recognize that culture. I recognize give me a second, sir. I recognize Black elitism, and I will be goddamned if some third world woman is talking about the greatest African people on the planet living in that shithole that she's living in. She lives on a landmass that produces nothing but plantain, sir. There are no exports coming out of that country, sir. You as an African American, sir, you should curb stomp, not physically, but you should curb stomp any third world person disrespecting you, sir. And you are a part of American history, sir. Your people built this country, sir. They built the roads, they built the skyscrapers. They were in West Virginia just along with those whites digging up coal. It's shameful when African Americans acquiesce power to third world people, and it's disgusting. Today on my platform, I hate to say this about my guy, this guy named Mr. S. He's an Arab. He was dogging the American military. I said, sir, if it wasn't for the American military, your Arab ass will be saluting the Third Reich right now. If it wasn't for us, and you better be careful.
Shit like that.
It's coming knocking at your door, and you're gonna need our primitive, backwards American military crazy asses in a minute, though. Sir, it is disrespectful, sir. That lady should be shamed from here to there, sir. In my opinion. Sorry about that. I'm blacking out. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. Now you don't identify with that. You call it N-word culture. I don't call it. I call it Black culture. I call it Black culture. When the majority of us support liberals, when the majority of us support agendas that are detrimental to our community, that means that the majority of our community is this way, whether we like it or not. It is Black culture. And we have to, now everybody on the panel, none of us can identify because we're all productive citizens. We're all doing what we're supposed to do. But in mass, do Black people think the way that you think or anybody else on this panel? Absolutely not. So we have to accept the fact that our culture is flawed. We've taken on collectively a certain mindset that is problematic for us as Black people, whether we like it or not. And all those people that you named, they're heroes. But we can also name, we can name Tupac, we can name the drug dealers on the corner, we can name the pimps, we can name the hoes, we can name all these people that are associated with Black people. And they all tie in.
Peace.
And we out.
Thank you guys so much.